the EFCC chairman recently was talking about the database. He said, even before coming here, I went to look into the database and saw that there were senior lawyers who had crossed the line.
If you know the damage that those Yahoo Boys are doing to this country, believe me, people might take me up on this, but the politicians probably don't do so much damage.
Really?
Yes. That the activities of the Yahoo Boys within a particular time put together was the banks lost over 500 billion.
500 billion?
Yes. There was one that the chairman also talked about. She was going to pay her daughter's school fees, who was going abroad. Maybe for a master's program or something, maybe about $8,000, they wanted. And before they knew it, the money left the account. In 24 hours, that money was recovered, the $8,000.
It's completely not true to say that
if you're a governor,
some sort of...
If you're a governor and you don't have a friend who has a property in Maitama or Asokoro,
what type of governor are you?
Yeah, exactly. This place could have been a big hub. And the reason those guys are going to China is why? Cheap labor and energy. We have cheap labor here. Very skilled young men and women. We have them, plenty of them in Nigeria. But what we don't have is energy. Now, let me tell you something. How much are you going to pay the police officer? What's the salary of a police officer in Nigeria? Do you know that, is it the 70,000 minimum wage you're going to pay the man who you want to? Because as a policeman is recruited, part of his condition of service, whatever, is that he can also die. Because
in the line of duty.
In the line of duty. Sometimes they die. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Good. The man who is supposed to sacrifice his life for you, you're paying him 70,000, 100,000.
This podcast is brought to you by the Volume Pod in association with the Cable NG, Albarka Radio, 97.5 FM, and Diazu Development.
This is Volume with FemiDlive. I'm glad you joined the show today. There's always a lot of ground to cover and, of course, a lot of interesting things to unveil. And I'm glad you've taken time to be on that journey with us for many months, of course, watching many episodes, leaving your comments and of your very thoughts, as we would say, on any issue that has been shared with you. Thank you for all you do and thank you for subscribing. And if you have not, there's room for you to do so. I'm Femi D. Amelem. My guest today is somebody I've known for quite some time. He's a brilliant lawyer. He's also somebody who speaks clearly on what governance should be like, especially when it comes to law. In Nigeria, well, there are lots of laws in Nigeria, but sometimes it can be troubling to understand how it applies or who chooses to apply it and when it is applied. But with that said, I will also mention the fact that he is the Vice Chairman, MBA Abuja, Unity Barr. Welcome, Barrister Tony Idoko.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot for us to really cover. And I wanted to start off with somewhere that you're very conversant with as we have it now. The EFCC chairman recently was talking about the database. He said he was going to give a speech at Body of Benchers. And one thing that caught my attention was he said, even before coming here, I went to look into the database and saw that there were senior lawyers who had crossed the line with regards to their practice. And of course, that means that quite a number of things that have now been done and how the EFCC is trying to get them to respond. Can you expatiate on the thinking behind that? Because it's been interesting to understand how lawyers operate in Nigeria mainly.
Well, thank you very much. You see, that event was the EFCC chairman said that at an event organized by the Body of Benchers. The Body of Benchers is the highest arm, in the legal profession that regulates the profession. It's responsible for calling students who are finished from the law school to bar. It's also responsible for discipline of erring lawyers. And so I think that event was, the theme was beyond call to bar.
Yes.
So that because a lot of people think that the only thing they do is just call to bar. So it was also an opportunity for stock taking. Okay, and so if you notice, it wasn't just about what the chairman said. I think it also took a position against lawyers that erred. That's the body of benchers itself.
Yes.
Remember, I told you it also regulates discipline. And our conduct as lawyers. So there were lawyers that were debarred. There were lawyers that were all different manners of discipline.
Suspended for 3 years.
Some were suspended for some time. So the EFCC chairman was invited to the program, and so it was an opportunity for him to also let the people know that about 100 lawyers are also under investigation. Notice, it's under investigation. It's not that they've been found guilty at all. So they are under investigation and all of that. So, but we're not a perfect organization. The NBA is peopled by people, by human beings. And so just like every discipline, once in a while we err, we make mistakes and all of that. And so it's not something circumscribed to just the Nigerian lawyers. It happens all over. I think if you look at South Africa, I think they have over 3,000. There's even over 3,000 lawyers who are under investigation, or who have even been. I think some level of discipline has already been meted out to them. If you go to New York, you go to America, you see they have such a huge number also. So I think just 100 is fine. It's fine for us. But that was what that program was about.
It's interesting that you do say that, because yes, I actually can tell. For example, in New York, there's much talk about lawyers who do things, they can be disbarred.
They also have over 3,000 also lawyers from 2019 to 2024. So over 3,000 lawyers in New York and other places. So it happens.
It's a little bit peculiar when it comes to Nigeria, because I mean, sometimes it's corporate lawyers abroad, and of course there are also political lawyers. But when it comes to Nigeria, the lawyers that their clients are possibly politically exposed people or politicians, we see a practice where it looks like the stronger your client, it also means the stronger your client base and the kind of money. In fact, let me say it this way. I understand that there's this level of retainer that lawyers have that even before the court pronounces to say, go and look for 2 billion of this something, or I'm just using those figures, the lawyer is able to clear them out. Is that a normal practice for a lawyer to almost have resourcing that can get their clients out when they are in a very difficult fix?
I don't get it. How the lawyer uses his money to get his client out?
The retainer is such a level. It's almost like a trust fund.
Okay.
The retainers that certain lawyers in Nigeria, because they have more than like 4 or 5 top clients, right? So they're retainers together.
Yeah.
It's almost like a trust fund that the lawyer can say, okay, if this is what they're asking for, I know people who will give us shorty in Metama, who will give us this, who will give us that. I just want to understand, is that a practice to, when you're a top lawyer, to be so resourceful that no matter the bail condition, you almost can meet it instantly in the court of law?
No, you see, it is not the lawyer that meets the bail condition, it's the client. You get? My job as a lawyer is to act as a counsel for instance, for you. So if you're involved in any kind of infraction and you need someone to act as your surety, you will need to be taken out on bail, and there are bail conditions that you have to meet. So it's not the lawyer that does that.
So that's exactly the point I am making. Yeah. So normally, what you're saying is that's the ideal way it's done. But what I'm saying that with the political class,
it's still the way it's practiced here.
Is that so? Because
yes, for instance, if you are standing in for say someone, maybe an ex-governor, okay, an ex-governor has big friends. So if he needs someone to take him out on bail, it's his friend that will do that. Usually they will say sometimes they'll say maybe 1 or 2 properties in Maitama or in Asokoro and all of that. So it's not the lawyer that it's not
so
the lawyer's
it is completely not true to say that
if you are a governor, if you are a governor and you don't have a friend who has a property in Maitama or Asokoro,
type of governor are you?
Yeah, exactly. You understand? So usually when that happens, they call their friends, who do that for them. That's not the work of the lawyer. The lawyer doesn't do that.
I was reading recently a scenario, and I don't, of course, I would not mention a scenario where a top lawyer in this country was now being dragged with regards to, and I'll use it as a scenario. So it means that, of course, you can fault maybe the line of thinking on it. Scenario where it is being said that, sir, as a top lawyer, you're using some sort of trust fund, like it is to say, in case we get issue 6 months from now, 4 months from now, we're giving you a retainment bank fee such that it exists. In case they freeze our assets, in case they freeze some of the things, in case this person and that person fails to come true for me, right? But you are my lawyer. You've been my lawyer for 5 years, 10 years. So you should be resourceful enough to go into that trust fund and get us out, right? That's why I'm asking that. Is that a normal practice?
Not a normal practice. That's not a normal practice.
Why is it not a normal? Why is
They didn't
it
teach
so?
us that in law school. They never taught us anything like that.
But isn't that being clever as well?
Well, that's why I said we're not perfect. Sometimes there are some extra steps that some people take, in their in a bid, maybe to get their client off the hook.
Yes.
Maybe temporarily or something. Okay, but it's not a normal practice. It's not a normal practice that somebody sets up sort of a trust fund and says, in case so and so thing comes up and we cannot reach this so and so person, and that you use it to. As a lawyer, you're not supposed to be even. You cannot take. Listen, if you have, I think it's even a misconduct. If you have you are doing a case for someone, you're not the one who's supposed to take the person out on bail. You're not. If you are taking someone out on bail, that doesn't mean a lawyer cannot do it, but you can only do it in a private capacity. For instance, if you have an issue, you understand, I need someone to do that for you. You can call me as a friend. I'll come even as a lawyer, but not because I'm not involved in the case. I'm doing that as a private citizen. Do you get? And as a friend, of course, I can do that. But if I'm the one involved in the matter, in the case, and to come again to want to arrange for your bail, to be the one responsible to take you out, that's not normal.
And
lawyers advise not to do that.
Well, I agree with you because it's not normal.
Because I remember a lawyer in a case who did that. It was his client, and somehow, I think whether it was late or very late, and they didn't want the man to sleep, to be detained, and I think he volunteered, to do it. And when they needed that man, they couldn't get him, so they had to get the lawyer. They detained him.
The lawyer, the client has absconded, I presume so.
Yeah, but he was saying that the client is somebody that is very known to him. It's not just one random person that he just came and then he that just came as a client. He's very, very known to the guy. It's not like he absconded, but he just wasn't there when they wanted him. And then, they called him several times and, there were excuses. It got to a point they had to get the lawyer. They invited the lawyer and they detained the lawyer. And I remember that I was called, in that matter. And, we just talked and I told him, I said, why did you do that? And he just said, well, he apologized and said, well, he just happened and there was no one and they didn't want the man to sleep and all of that because it was wrong. He shouldn't have done that.
It's interesting you do say that. But, one thing that's also playing out when it comes to corruption in Nigeria is where does it stop? I was reading an article recently where they say everyone is corrupt, and the article was highlighting the police anyway. But it just said everyone was corrupt. And
everyone in the police.
Yeah, that's what the article was. Very biased article, by the way.
Cannot be corrupt.
Yeah, of course, that kind of
there are good people in the police.
We will get to talk about the police, but as part of the attempts by, let's say, the organization EFCC as we know it, they are requesting that lawyers, if I get this right, that is it possible that lawyers register with the Special Control Unit, right, against money laundering, SCUMO, for reporting, which lawyers argue conflict with professional confidentiality. Yeah. Do you think it's something lawyers should do or not do?
Well, you see, lawyers, we have the right to that.
SCUMO, yeah?
No, not SCUMO.
Confidentiality.
Now, SCUMO wants everyone to register.
True.
Yes, because they're trying to prevent money laundering. And it's easier for them when you have registered, with them, and then they have your details and they can easily trace. But then the NBA went to court. I think it was a senior advocate, Ola Olani. No, it's not Ola. Sorry, I said Ola Olanipeku. Talking about the EFCC child. It wasn't Ola Olanipeku. It was the other Olanipeku, Wale Olanipeku, the former president of the NBA. Is the one who went to court. Okay, he represented the NBA.
NBA.
Yes. So he went to court, and the court held that lawyers should be exempted.
Why?
Yeah, because lawyers. The claim is that whatever they do, some things, that they do with their clients should be confidential.
How does that?
They were able to make that argument. You were able to make the argument to the persuasion of the court. Court was persuaded, and the court said, okay, yeah, and that lawyers should be exempted.
When they're exempted, it means they don't get to have to register their financial dealings because of the type of clients that they deal with. Is that what that implies?
Part of it.
Doesn't that obscure full processes of the law? For example, when somebody now says, okay, this lawyer, I think is not doing things right. Doesn't that obscure transparency?
No, that doesn't mean that if you commit an infraction, you would not go for it. Do you get? But to start, to subject your account, okay, to any agency at all was what they frowned at. You understand?
I see.
Yes. They said no. They have. I don't remember but there were good reasons. There were reasons that were, were made by the Mr. Olanipeku, by the NBA rather, by the NBA,
which he represented.
Yes, in fact, he was the former president of the Barr, and so he made his argument. The judge was convinced, and that judgment has not been appealed.
Let me put this next question in a very interesting way. So people often say, for example, the most popular way people say it is EFCC is not effective when it comes to prosecuting cases. They're not getting convictions and the likes of that. But I recently sat across someone who told me that EFCC is also not finding it easy, right, in judiciary overview, or should I say response time to some of those cases, and the frequency where some of those cases are, being stepped out or thrown out is a challenge. What do you think is very vital right now to the EFCC, especially when it comes to high-profile trial cases that are trying to see where it goes, or to win, if I would say?
Well, there are challenges. EFCC has challenges in that regard. Not EFCC, even I think the ICPC.
Yes, ICPC as well.
The problem is they are asking for speedy trials. They want the cases to move very fast. They think that it should not be treated like some other cases. Sometimes, because you see, they were dealing with politicians, very smart politicians, who keep the case in court for a very long time. Can you imagine a case being in just one court for about 10 years, 7 years, sometimes 12 years, And so they think that, these politicians deploy all manner of, tactics not to finish this matter. Because most times they know that if the matter were to go forward, speedily, they fear that they might get convicted. And so they keep it there, and then they begin to play all kinds of games, and so the matter doesn't move as fast as it should. We also have the challenge of politicians, getting supporters. They'll go and get supporters who protest, because they feel that this person maybe is from their state, their person, and why you're not doing that to the other one? They believe, sometimes they have this perception of selective justice or whatever. You understand? Selective trial. You're trying this one, you're not trying the other one, and all of that. So some of these are the challenges that the Commission and the ICPC, particularly the EFCC, because I see a lot of protests. Sometimes they come to the office, they bring protesters in buses.
Does that have any effect at all?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. We know that those protests they are not spontaneous. They are not organic. They are not real. They are just paid protesters. Sometimes there was one that happened some time ago. In fact, it has happened many times. They will even see some of the people. They will have their placards upside down. They don't even know what they are doing. Sometimes there was one that happened recently. After the protest, they were fighting. They were angry that they had not been paid. And you see them. One time I was coming to the office, I saw buses. So who mobilized them? I saw buses, big buses, not small ones. Of course, there were a few coastal buses. There were also some big buses, bringing people wearing same T-shirts. You know that this is not ordinary. You know that this is not something that just happened. It must have been organized. Someone must have mobilized them. So it happens a lot of times. So they come to the commission, they come and protest. Sometimes it's against, sometimes it is for. Sometimes if they think that someone who is supposed to be undergoing prosecution is still out there, they'll come to the EFCC, with their placards and ask that the EFCC, prosecute the person, start prosecuting that person. Now, sometimes it's when someone is arrested, that they come and protest and the person should be released. So these are some of the things that the commission grapples with.
Yeah, and
while it is doing its best, and the commission is really trying. I tell you, if in the last few years, it has recovered over 500 billion, close to 1 trillion naira. That is recovered from different people. Do you share these stories? Do the BFCC share some of these actionable recoveries? Because I do read them in paper. It's out there.
Yes, I do read them in paper, but people often believe that that's in theory, because there was a time EFCC was talking about selling cars, for example, and all those other things that were recovered. But people also still find it very difficult to believe, to say, this was done, but it was not done effectively. It was done in alignment to maybe what the executive at the time wanted. What do you say to people who are very critical, right, of the role the EFCC is doing and how well they have recovered things so far? Because that is really like, it's a permanent branding to say, all right, you have done well according to the bigger boss.
See, people must criticize whatever you're doing. There's nothing you do that will not be subject to analysis, criticism, and all of that. So it's normal. But there are also a lot of people who also appreciate the work that you do. You understand? And this is not just about the FCC. It's a human nature. It's something that happens every time. Okay? Now, talking about the cars you talked about. Yeah, those cars, they are proceeds of crime. And usually the FCC will not sell them until they get a permanent forfeiture from the court. So the last one that was done, when they wanted to sell the cars, they experienced glitches and the chairman cancelled it. Do you get? Yeah, because the auctions are usually, the auctions that the common ones we know, they're usually physical. So people come, the things are there and they begin to bid. But this time they wanted to make it much easier. So you can bid from anywhere you are. Even if you something could come up and then maybe you traveled. So if you travel and you can bid from wherever you are, even if you're outside the country. Do you get? When you come back, you come and fulfill the other requirements, and get your car. So they made it very seamless and very easy for Nigerians. But of course, you trust us somehow. I don't know whether it's with the auctioneers, but suddenly they started experiencing glitches.
Yes.
And someone is looking at a car he wants to buy. Suddenly there's a glitch, and by the time the thing settles, the car is sold. It's sold. So German cancelled it. And
it was not, insider trading, if I would say.
Well, I don't know.
Let's just leave it at that.
The thing is that it was cancelled. You get. So some people have been asking, when is the next one going to be done? You know, but they want to make sure that they take care of some of the things that happened that time, so that it doesn't come up again. You know. So, but I can assure you that the EFCC is doing a lot. You see, if I wasn't there, if I didn't go there, I would not have known the things that those guys, they work so hard. Do you know when they close? Sometimes they close very late. They don't pay them overtime. But they close very late. That's how much they work. You get? When it comes to training, they invest a lot in their staff. They send them to different parts of the world. If you see an average EFCC lawyer's CV, you'll be amazed. I looked at one and I said, wow, is this how they train people here? Do you see training China, training America, training in Netherlands, training here? So top places, FBI, they go there for training. You get? So they train their staff very well. Those guys are hardworking and they do a lot of recovery. Now, it doesn't matter whether some people have said, well, the monies that they're recovering, they can't see them. Some say, oh, the monies that they're recovering, when they recover, they reloot. I've heard all those kind of things.
Or they say pretty much they bring the agency down just to
but what they don't
go after Yahoo Boys.
What they don't understand is that the recovered funds, okay, are not warehoused in EFCC account or anywhere. It's Federation account. When they release, they send it to Federation account. And government directs how they want the money to be spent. You understand? For instance, when government started this NEL fund, it directed the EFCC to release 50 billion naira. It was EFCC recovered funds that NEL fund used to start business. Then there was also this corporate, what's that, something called, what's the name now? Credit call.
Okay.
Yes, there's a credit call. When it started, I think a lot of Nigerians don't know about it. You know, but if you're looking for money, you can just Google, if you Google credit call, you will find out what they do. They assist Nigerians with credit, you know, with money to assist you in maybe whatever you want to do. I think they have their guidelines there and all of that. They also started with EFCC's 50 billion sent to them to start. So if EFCC in the last few years, just from 2023 to this point, they have recovered so much, I think Nigerians should really, really, be grateful to the chairman and the staff, all the staff, everything that they are doing there. So I understand that you can criticize them. There's no doubt about that.
People criticize them, especially along the lines of, that
they should criticize.
That much of their Twitter publishing has a lot to do with just fraudsters, Yahoo fraudsters, that they never really put up pictures of high-profile cases.
Let me tell you something. It's not true. So you have not seen a lot of high-profile cases that they've been handling?
Yes, but not published in public domain, as one would say.
No, they are. Okay. You heard when the former Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, when she was picked, nobody read about it? So when she was arrested?
I think pictorially,
yes.
What EFCC often publishes is there is a board of the person under investigation. There's a crime that they're being investigated for. Right? For the fraudsters, the young fraudsters, we see them carry those boards to say, this is what I'm under investigation for. But that kind of picture doesn't make it out for high-profile cases. Is there a reason for that?
Well, you've not seen any high-profile person?
No, I haven't. And I have, let me say, I have limited search.
In any case, let me tell you about that board. I know that there are people who are saying that it is even wrong for anybody to carry that board. There are people who are fighting it. And I think the commission, I think they're trying to do something about it, so that because of maybe the embarrassment it brings to this. But people are saying that they prosecute only Yahoo Boys, If you know the damage that those Yahoo Boys are doing to this country, believe me, people might take me up on this, but the politicians probably don't do so much damage.
Really?
Yes. Because let me tell you something. Our politicians steal our money.
Yes.
Okay? We feel the impact, very terrible, But it's our money that they are stealing. But these Yahoo boys, the activities go beyond the shores of Nigeria. Do you know the reason why sometimes we suffer when we leave this country is because of those guys? The reason they don't trust you cannot use your ATM, it's not because of the politician that stole money here. Why? The reason why you cannot use your ATM when you get into certain, you want to do certain transactions, you put Nigerian ATM and they block it. Why? Why do you think you go to certain sites and they tell you, I don't know whether it's and they'll block you? It's because of...
Nigeria is not even listed on some sites.
Yes. It's because of the activities of those boys. Do you know how many times the EFCC, at least has had to, so like sometimes people come from the embassies, from different embassies, sometimes from Chinese embassies, from US embassies, from Canada, Canadian embassy, from the US embassy, and from which other, the ones I witnessed, from France, the French embassy, when we had to return those proceeds of crime to them. They will come and it's done in the open, it's not something hidden. It's always reported. I've been there several times. I've been part of that meeting when it was done. Okay, for instance, there was one, the current Enugu State governor was also the process of crime from a past governor. All of those things, that they got from the state, these houses and all of that, cars and all that. I've forgotten the value now. They were presented to the Enugu State government. He was there in person. He collected it, thanked the commission for everything, So we do that even for but you see, that is us. But this one that is going out, how do you think they view us? When you see they return dollars, they return cars, they will tell you how the person got, he has scammed a woman of maybe $20,000, blah, blah, blah. The FCC, they report, and the FCC recovers the money. And then they give the money back. So they're doing a lot of damage. And let me tell you something. The FCC chairman said something, that the activities of the Yahoo boys within a particular time, put together, the banks lost over 500 billion.
500 billion?
Yes. Within a particular space of time, maybe from 1 year, particular year to so and so year, the monies that the banks have lost through all these Yahoo boys. Let me tell you something. There was one that the chairman also talked about. I think it was a judge. She was going to pay her daughter's school fees, who was going abroad. Maybe for a master's program or something, maybe about $8,000, they wanted. And before they knew it, the money left the account. $8,000. The woman called the chairman. She cried out. The chairman should help her. This is what has happened. And according to the chairman, he said it that in that same state, they had ruled against the FCC before over these issues. They say, they complain like this. No, it's only this one. So chairman said, but you people, when we come, you people say no. They said, one said, no, she's not part of them, no. Blah, blah. In 24 hours, that money was recovered, the $8,000. Now, that woman will not feel the same way. She will not say, no, it's only Yahoo boys. Because Yahoo boys have not dealt with you. When they deal with you, you will understand. You get? Now, what the man is doing is, he said one time he went to Lagos, his Lagos office, and there were some of these Yahoo boys that they caught. And he just looked at them, one of them, and he called him. And he asked him, why are you doing this? And the boy said, it was because things are difficult for his parents. The guy was in 100 level, maybe history, an art student, not science. So the guy would say, so things are difficult. He's one that takes care of himself in school and all of that. So the chairman says, is that all? He said, yes. He said, yes. How do you do these things? Where did you learn this? And he asked him, say, can you do so and so thing? The guy said, yes. The guy started operating the system, opening things. The chairman was amazed. He looked at the guy. So he said, the guy now said, even this your phone, I can open your account. Let me try. So chairman said, no, don't open my account. But he looked at the talent in the guy and the skill. This is not a science student. And he asked the guy, so if you find someone who is going to take care of your school take care of you in school, pay your bills and all of that. You will stop this. The guy agreed. And chairman said, I will do it for you. Then, of course, looking at all the boys and how they were misdirecting their energies and all of that, he decided to set up a cybercrime center in Abuja here. There's an academy, the commission is building an academy along the airport road. There's going to be a cybercrime center there where they can train these boys, okay, and look at, just because they are too young to be sent into prison. If you send them to prison, you just want to destroy their life. So he just had compassion on this young man, and then the other one said, look, well, let's do something about these people because they are very talented. The problem is, no, they can't find a positive way of directing their talent, their energies. So there's that crime center is coming up. It's being sponsored by the CEO of Flutterwave.
Oh, I see.
Yes. You know, it's going to be one of those, so they can bring experts, boys to come and teach them and see how they can also engage them. Because it's not enough just help them and then you leave them. You get? Because there's a lot we can benefit from these young men. We have a lot of talents in Nigeria.
And it could be future agents of
a
the
lot
agency.
of talents here, a lot of talents in this place. This place could have become like China. Because what's making Apple go to China? Some of the things we buy from, whether from, I thought you know how we feel about Chinese products. Yeah? Once you want to buy something, just say made in China, you just avoid it. You say, no, I don't want made in China, except if you can't help it. So I was surprised when I went abroad and I was seeing things in the stores, they say made in China. I said, why was made in China? I can't come to UK and I'm buying made in China. I want to buy made in UK. You get? But I noticed that many of their products are made in China too. But with European standard. Unlike when it comes to Nigeria, the reason we complain about Chinese products here is because the standard organization of Nigeria I think they're not doing a very good job. Sometimes I'm not indicting them, but I think that's why we have substandard Chinese products here. You get. So, but this place could have been a big hub, and the reason those guys are going to China is why? Cheap labor and energy. You get it?
Yes.
Cheap labor and energy. We have cheap labor here. Very skilled young men and women. We have them, plenty of them in Nigeria. My friend bought a car in the US. I tell you this. He bought the car in Mercedes. Now, you know this non-tested, like where you, is this where you buy maybe an iron, they say non-tested, tested. If you buy a non-tested, it's your risk.
50-50.
Okay, good. So he got this car, it was like a non-tested. But there's a word they call those cars, those type of cars in America. It wasn't starting. He had an issue. So he looked at it, and with his eagle eye, he just thought that the problem with this car might be electrical. So it's not a big deal, you know. So because the car came very cheap, because
of course it's always very ridiculous.
Yes, because it was not run and drive. Run and drive. You understand? So it came very cheap. So he took the risk and bought the car. So he got the car out of the auction ground. He got somebody to help him look at the car. I think they charged him $2,000. And he said, he just calculated it, $2,000. He said, leave it, don't worry. They put the car in the ship like that. The car came to Nigeria. In Lagos, he brought the car down. When the car came out, Roro, it was Roro. So when the car came to Nigeria, he just got somebody around the place where they were doing all those offloading. They were, of course, you find all those boys there because all those kind of cars, you will see some of them that some may not be able to start, some may not be. So those boys who are always there to help you, you know, to start. Those mechanics are also around that side. So he just got an electrician to do it. He told me that in less than 1 hour, the car started. It was an electrical problem. He said he just asked the guy how much. The guy said 25,000. Which in naira would have been. Yes. He said the guy he didn't waste time. He just paid the guy 25,000 naira. They drove that car to Abuja. Cheap labor, skilled labor. We have it here. But what we don't have is energy. That's why those guys cannot come here. The reason they are going to China is China has energy. China has cheap labor, skilled labor, and they have energy. We have cheap labor, we have skilled labor. Our boys are good, especially when it comes to our mechanics, our electricians, you know. They do a lot of good job. Even Go to MAP.
Maybe
You want
some
to fix your
Abuja
phone.
mechanics. I would add exception, because if you meet the real Abuja mechanics, some of them
No, of course there are also crazy ones. There are crazy ones.
True to that.
You understand?
Yes.
But when you go to MAP, these guys, your phone has an issue. They will open that issue, that your phone, and you'll be surprised. Do whatever you want. There are boys who are working there. Some of those boys have not even gone to university. Some of them are graduates, but they are there. They are working. You follow? My car had an issue one time with the brain box. I know, I said gearbox. Someone told me, don't. That was a long time ago. The cost was expensive to buy a new one.
About 700, 800 brain and above.
Yeah.
That's usually where you start.
Now there was someone say, they can fix this guy. No, they do. They opened the gearbox. FemiD. If you saw the things they brought out of that, I was just looking. I just told myself, this gearbox is gone. Because what they brought out of that gearbox were too many. There were too many things on the ground. This one not here. This one. How are you going to find? How do you put them back? How will you know where to place them? There were so many. There were just so many on the ground. I said, this guy cannot. But the guy fixed it. He put. I'm talking about gearbox of a Passat gearbox, Volkswagen Passat.
German vehicle for that matter.
He put everything back. He fixed it. I said, wow. So we got them. We got so many of these boys here.
I like the fact that you talked about young boys, young ladies as well, talented people. And now there's much talk about, state police and who one would even recruit. The locals, the people who are from townships that are close by. There's the debate about state police, and I know the EFCC is also structured, under the police, and I can imagine if that were to happen, because the last IGP, right, the last IGP Egbetokun argued against it. He said we were not mature enough. In fact, I have his exact words, that we're not mature enough to even undertake the idea of state policing. That was his own perspective. He said that at an event where Vice President Shetima as well was representing President Tinubu, they went in two different directions. Literally. So, I mean, it's a major issue in that. Let me read a little bit of what the former IGP said so that we can establish our trajectory into state police. The former IGP said that on the issue of state police, it's the submission of the leadership of Nigerian police force that Nigeria is not yet mature and ready for the establishment of state-controlled police. At the same event, Vice President Shetima, representing the president, said, in our deliberations, let us consider the implication of state policing from multiple perspectives. We must evaluate its potential to improve response time and the likes of that. And in 2024, President Tinubu also had mentioned that, he likes this idea of state police. So some say, okay, maybe this is what led to his retirement, difference of perspective. But that's in lieu. What's your perspective to state police, even now? And one thinks about it in many dimensions. The young people you mentioned, there could be members of the police force, the resourcing of the police in itself, the resourcing of the agencies close by to the police as well.
Thank you very much, FemiD. State police, left to me, I would say, is not what we need.
As Barrister Idoko now.
Yes, it's not our immediate solution to even the security problem.
Why not?
Now, but because we're in a very hard place right now with regards to security, it's okay. Just okay. Let's try it and see. We've had state police before. State police is not a new concept in Nigeria. It's been here before. Something happened.
That's in regional police, you mean, 1967?
Maybe.
Gerard Rossi did step down.
Yes. So some of the things that, it's just like now, people are clamoring that we go back to regional government. There are people who want us to go back to regional government. But we had it before. We were dissatisfied, and then we opted for presidential system. Now, people are saying we should go back to regional government. So you can see the problem is maybe not the system of government. The problem is us. Okay? Now, the problem I have with state police, state police is a beautiful concept, but it's because of the people who are going to drive that concept. We know ourselves. How matured are we? How matured are the governors? We see how they run the states. We see how they handle opposition. If so many of them, you cannot even, tweet against them on social media. They'll pick you up. That's happened several times. You get? Mm-hmm. So it's like before you started driving, there's a reason why the law says you have to be like 18 years.
Yes.
Before you can be eligible for a license to drive. There's a reason. It's not because you cannot drive if you are 16 or if you are 15, but don't give you a license. And what you're doing is illegal. If they arrest you, you can be arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Ticket. So when you have a child who is saying, I want to drive, Daddy, I want to drive, you are like, you look at his age. It's what you would have loved to do. You want love for him to do naturally. You'll be happy to see your child drive. It will relieve you of some stress. Sometimes when you need to go somewhere and say, go and help me get this, go to so-and-so place, go and get fuel for me. You understand? Go to FemiD's house. He will give you so-and-so something, bring it to me. Or help me take this into FemiD's house. You relax, you are doing so. So, but when you know that it's not matured enough, the question is mature. The reason people are saying no to this thing is because of the maturity. We have seen how the governors are handling the states. That's the reason. It's not the issue, it's not the concept. It's not the idea.
So political problem that comes with it.
Now, the problem is this. Even the state police we're talking about, people are angry. Why is that? The governors are very, very interested in state police. And let me tell you, state police, they've been asking for the state police long before we have these serious security threats all over the country. They've always wanted this idea of state police because they want to have control. They believe that the federal police, is out of, it's not within their control. So they want someone they can say, go and do this, go and arrest that person, go and pick up that person. And you know how loyalty is here. Once you appoint one commissioner or for your state or whatever they are going to call it. I don't know why we're going to have two state commissioners, but whatever they're going to call the one, created by the governor, whatever, that a lot of times they'll go overboard. You get? Mm-hmm. We know how. Okay, look at SEC, just SEC election. The power that they gave to them to conduct SEC, you can see how it's been grossly abused. It's only the party of the governor that wins everything. So we are seeing example. That's why, imagine if you give them the police. Now, let me tell you something. How much are you going to pay the police officer? What's the salary of a police officer in Nigeria? Do you know that, is it the 70,000 minimum wage you're going to pay the man who you want to? Because as a policeman is recruited, part of his condition of service, whatever, is that he can also die. Because
in the line of duty.
Sometimes they die. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Good. The man who is supposed to sacrifice his life for you, you're paying him 70,000, 100,000. There's state police in other parts of the world. In fact, in other parts of, if you go to, maybe in the US, if you go to the US, you hardly find, this FBI, every time you see them.
Yeah, it's going to become a federal issue.
Almost all the states you go, there's state police.
Texas.
LAPD.
Yes, LAPD.
NYPD. Those are all state policemen. But you know how much they pay them? An average NYPD officer earns about $60-something thousand per annum. That's the salary. Person that is just starting. And then maybe in the next 5 years, he can earn up to 120. And if he has spent 5 years and above, you can get about 150 per annum. They pay them overtime. They pay them, what do you call it? They pay them, they have holiday allowances.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoy holiday allowances. They enjoy overtime. They enjoy other benefits. So after 5 years, you can earn up to 150,000 per annum. If you go to somewhere like California, they earn up to 90,000 while you are still in academy. I mean, by the time you join proper, you are getting about 95,000, 96,000. You get?
Yes.
So when you look at that, because they have understood that the man who is sacrificing his life for you while you are sleeping, he's awake. You get? That's why in those crimes, they don't play with military men, they don't play with policemen. They hold them in serious regard. You get? But here we want state police. Maybe because of, okay, and let me say this. the real problem of our insecurity, is not all. We're not going to solve our insecurity when we recruit more policemen. That's not going to help.
Are you sure?
Yes, more policemen is not going to help us. Try it and see. We're here.
More eyes, more hands, more intelligence.
It's not. You see, when intelligence, it's not until you have more policemen that you have intelligence. You get intelligence. You can get intelligence from the people. There are countries that you go and you don't see. There are countries. I've forgotten this country as well. I think it's one of the Scandinavian countries. They have very small amount of policemen.
You
don't even see them. You don't even know
Denmark has a story around the police.
You can be married to a policewoman in some of those countries. You will not even know for years. You don't know she's a policewoman. Now the problem that I'm telling you that the greatest challenge to our insecurity is not more policemen, it's good governance. Just give us good governance. A lot of the things, a lot of the insecurities that we have been afflicted with, they will just dissipate. I'm telling you, just give us, let there be light. If there's light, you're probably running on generator here, and maybe you're running on band A.
Yes, I can testify.
Okay. If we have light, steady supply of electricity. If we have, if you train these boys, you understand? Goes back to what I was saying the other time. If you look at the number of people I was saying something, we have something similar to what China has. That's what I was talking about. Looking at these young men, training them, giving them the necessary skill, and see what they can do, and see how investors will rush into this place, set up factories and everything, because of the labor that we have here. China is the largest country in the world. Is that not so?
Yes,
in terms of population.
Population, yes.
Nigeria is the largest black country in the world. Biggest in Africa. Population is here. Population is an advantage. Population is something. What China is what China is doing. One of the things that China is benefiting from is its population. It's been able to take, I understand, about 400 million people out of poverty.
They have quite a number of millionaires now.
Because of their innovation. Because of the reforms that they brought. So you would take, when we were growing up, we didn't have this level of crime now. Because we did not have this type of misgovernance that we have by governors. Because governors are largely, governors are everywhere. We just have one president. I've always said it, that the presidents do their best. The problem is always with the governors. How many governors are working? How many governors? You can count them on the tip of your finger. How many governors you can say are doing well? But they tell you they're collecting a lot of money. What are they doing with it?
Votes.
And yes, thank you very much. Look at the security vote that no one can question them on. They can spend it the way they want. Some states get up to 1 billion naira for security vote. Some get about 500 million. And yet, you can't see what they're doing with it. Yet there's still insecurity. You follow? So these are some of the challenges we have. So I understand state police. It has come, well, since it looks like, like I said earlier, we're in a very hard place. Let's go for the state police.
Do you think?
But my fear is that we don't create another problem.
But as we round off, do you think, for example, I've been thinking about a hybrid model around this. There's the people who say they want it, but they also, give them state police.
You see, my idea of a state police,
leave the control under the IGP.
Yes, my idea of a state police is this: we can recruit more people. Let them be federal police, but circumscribe them within their states.
I see.
Yes, but let them be under the federal government.
Similar to what the army was doing some years ago.
Maybe. You understand? Get them, recruit them, but they are in the states, they are in the local governments. They are everywhere. They are not the state, the one in Benue State, you cannot push that one to Lagos. You understand? Then, of course, we can still have the federal ones that, of course, can still move around. But make sure that these ones, you can have them, and once you have them, the one in Zamfara cannot go to Port Harcourt. Its restriction is restricted to Zamfara. let him do that, let him do his job.
Because
when we need to do, you understand, the monies that, because see, Femi, you just see when this thing happens, it won't be long, they'll start owing them salaries. States will start owing them salary. So once we do that, the monies that the state government, the monies that the federal government, maybe the allocation to state government, reduce it a bit, so they can use that money to pay these guys. But let them be in the states and let them be working.
So what do you think of a federal-state partnership when it comes to, for example, the states already have security votes,
yes,
right? And then now you have police officers who are landlocked, let me use it that way, to your state, if that's the possibility of that, to say, okay, if you're a police officer in Lagos State, your earning from the month comes from an accumulation of what the federal puts alongside with what the states put in there for you. What do you think of such a model?
We can have a trust fund. Do you get? We can have a trust fund where maybe companies, a certain amount of, because look, security is key.
Yes.
We can't joke. The Constitution has already made it very clear, Section 14. It's made it very clear to all of us. You understand? That the security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government.
Yes.
You follow?
Yes.
You can see how there's panic everywhere because of the insecurity that we have in the country. People cannot travel unlike before. There's so many advisories there. When you're going to your village, don't go. People are going to their village, they will leave the big car and go with one small car so that so that eyes are not on him. You follow? So now security is key. So we can have a trust fund. Let all the multinational companies, contribute. We used to have something like a police equipment fund those days. I don't know what happened to it. So the thing is that we start a good policy and then sometimes we don't see it to the end. So, but these are the things that we can do. These are the things that we can do. We don't need to allow government. We can't have 36 state police in the country. There will be problem. Imagine when governors, for instance, have problems with their predecessors, maybe the one who helped you to get into office. Yeah. You understand? Because there are governors that don't even with the federal police that we have, there's a way they use them. They don't allow them to get into, they'll tell you, you cannot come to this state. You are telling another governor, he can't come to this state. Or you're telling an opposition figure, he cannot come to the state. Imagine if he has a state
apparatus.
Yes. So we need to help this young man, because some of these men, the guys who are committing the crime, they are also children of police officers.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that on that one. There's a lot to really cover when it comes to the issue of state police, and there are many dimensions to this. The truth is that I strongly think that your recommendation is such that will be taken. I know the IGP has put up 7-man committee. They're thinking about all the framework in which it could play out. And it's not just the adjustment that would happen with the police. It will go into all the other parastatals. I mean, thinking about state EFCC and all those other things. Who knows if that's a possibility? Who knows what could it all come down to at the end of the day? But it changes the ball game, I presume so.
Well, let's try it. If it works, fine. I hope it works. My prayer is that it works. Okay? But because of the kind of people that we are dealing with, you understand? It's people that are dealing with, okay, they said allow local government to work. They said no. You understand? If that local government works, you will not be, this clamor for state police will be reduced.
In law it works.
The president has gone to court over it. Supreme Court has given an order, a judgment.
Autonomy.
That give autonomy to local government. It's there, the law is there. But these guys won't let it work. And those are the guys you see we should give state police to. You get what I'm saying?
I do, sir.
No, if that local government works, if it functions effectively, if it's effective, the allocations that are going there, if you allow the whole of those allocations, all you need to do is just supervise them, make sure that they do the work. You have your own allocation as a state government. You're collecting you're getting internally generated, and you're collecting again from this one. But the ones that are going to local government, you still collect. You still don't want the government. If the local government works, and we have some of these things that we're talking about, we can just have the good governance generally. Things will just pick up. People will be doing their businesses. Not everybody will be. Now you see some guys, they finish school, they just get into one or two things. They're not even looking for government work because it's not even there. Yes, the government jobs are not there.
It
But
is
if you fix the economy, because our guys who travel abroad, they don't go to do government work. There's no government. When you go to UK, is that government work for you? No, it's because the economy is working. You must find something to do. It may not be exactly what you want, but at least something to hold the body. I would say to hold body. Yeah. You will see something to hold the body.
I have to say a big thank you to you, sir, for your time. Barrister Tony Idoko has been my guest today on Volume with FemiDlive. A senior lawyer, he has provided quite a number of perspectives to quite a number of subjects we've touched on, if I would say, from EFCC and lawyers to police, state police, and also state governors, the role that they play, and much more. I'm sure as you watch through, you have your high points where your clear comments is what you really want to share with us. Thank you once again, sir, for coming down.
Always my pleasure, FemiDlive.
And that's the show. I'm Femi Amele. Let's know what you think. Write in your comments and we'll keep up with you.